Hey guys, how we doing? So I haven't been on, well, not me on my own for a while. I've had some lovely chats with people over the last few days, Shannon and Kerry, but I haven't done an actual video with just me for a while of what I wanted to talk about. So here we are. What we're going to talk about, we're going to talk about the shift. The shift is happening, and it is happening thick and fast, and it's happening there's a lot going on from both sides. From you can just feel there's this, it almost feels like a race energy. We must do this as quickly as possible because they're catching up and they're overtaking us. You probably think, what the hell is he talking about? What race? What shift? The shift of consciousness, the shift of the awakening, the shift of humanity, the shift from 3D to 5D. We're currently in 4D, and that's why we see this massive split across the planet. And so many people in disagreement, so many egos are showing up. That's probably why you might be thinking, well, why is everyone so... people, especially subscribers that watch this channel, a lot of them are on this path and they understand what we're talking about. But for anyone that's just joined and anyone that's tuned into this video and doesn't really understand or have a clue what I'm talking about, then you can either hang around and listen to what I want to waffle about, or you can go on your merry way and do whatever you need to do in the 3D in the 3D world. Go and have an argument with somebody somewhere, or just shout at me through the screen, whatever you want to do. So what we're going to start off, we're going to explain and talk about this shift and what it is. So the reality that we used to live in years ago, and this shift has been happening for a long time, and we've all been ascending and awakening on a journey on what started off quite slow, and it's starting to snowball now, and it's starting to get quite quick. And what happens when you're in the 3D world, when you're in the Matrix, there's various names for it. There's the Matrix, there's the 3D world, there's just like life in general and what have you, and but people kind of believe that's truth, that's life, that is existence. So if you're trapped in the 3D, if you're trapped in the Matrix, then you will believe that the government and the world leaders care about you. You'll believe that we need certain structures, and you have to have a certain structure, and you have to work so many hours, and you have to be able to make ends meet, and blah, 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 and you have to keep within the constraints of that structure of what was known to be normal, and the belief that everything around you is what it is, and there is nothing more. That is it. So, but what we are finding is that many people are seeing and being aware of much more that is around them, and much more that is within them. That is the key. The key is being that connection to within them, their inner voice, their intuition, their inner calling, their soul journey, their awakening, their kundalini, their Christ consciousness. There's so many different names for it. This connection that we find within ourselves, and when it begins, it's very, very confusing, because all your belief structures fly out the window, and you go through many years of confusion within yourself, confusion from others, maybe a bit of finger pointing, maybe a bit of name calling, because as people start to awaken and ascend and start to see things differently, those that are still stuck within the 3D reality don't get it, they don't understand it, And so they do the name calling, they throw the ego at it, because that's all that they know what to do. They just want to create fear, violence, division, and all that sort of stuff. And so that is why right now, because we're in the 4D, the fourth dimension, because we've connected to, many of us around the world are connecting to this other frequency, this other dimension that is within us. So it's not just the eat, sleep, work, repeat. It's not that routine. That's all been kind of like shifted, and that's why you see so many breakdowns with regards to all this strike culture and people, although that's still kind of connected to the 3D world, but it's also the awakening, the ascension process is having an effect on that, because without that and without the breakdown, then it wouldn't go any further. We need things to break down for a new earth, for a new world to begin. So we're going into this next dimension, this fourth dimension, or we're in the fourth dimension now, and that's why we see this kind of massive divide between ego and between the awakening, the connection, the connecting, whatever you want to call it. And so the ego, we all have an ego, and even if you're awakened, or even if you're going through this process, this ascension, you also have an ego. However, you are more in tune with it and you're more in line with it, so you'll be more balanced. Whereas if you're more fixed in the 3D, your ego will be more prominent, and you probably won't have any aspect for thinking about things on another dimension, or in a different way of thinking, different way of looking at things, and not connecting to your inner voice, because most people in the third dimension will just think, well, it's just coincidence, it's just hogwash, it's just stuff being made up, it's all this, that and the other. But in actual fact, it's not. It's this deep connection with spirit, with the universe, with everything that is around us. And as we connect to this frequency more, we connect to that world more as well, because we are spirit in form. That is our true nature. But because we're in a 3D meat suit, the meat suit is what carries us within this world. However, our experience of it changes through the eyes, through this awakening process. The awakening. So awakening can be talked about in many different terms. It can be the third eye awakening, it can be your chakras awakening, it can be your connection to yourself, it can be connection to your intuition, it can be connection to your soul and following your soul paths, or following your soul journey. And that is what this fourth dimension, shifting into the fifth dimension thing, is all about. And some will go to the fifth dimension, and some will remain on the third dimension, because they're unable to, currently in that life, they're unable to ascend, they're unable to go further, because they're too, it's either their soul journey, it's their soul calling, because they have things to learn, and things to play out in the third dimension before they can ascend to a new vibration, or they're so rigid and full of ego and fixed in the belief that is the way things are, that they won't get out of that. They'll be in this loop, and they won't get out of that. So all this stuff that we're seeing around the world, these splits, this breakdown, that to many of us, it is, as we watch it and see it and hear about it. I mean, I don't watch any media. I don't watch any news anyway, or try to stay away from as much of it as possible, because it's so negative. And that's another thing. So I wanted to talk a little bit about some of the things that you can experience. So you might be wondering, well, am I in the fourth dimension? Am I still in the 3D? You know, am I on this awakening journey? You may not know. Things may be starting to change, and you might be questioning things. So that's another reason why maybe you're watching this video. But that's what I wanted to talk about a little bit, about some of the things that you might experience if you are shifting into 4D and on this awakening journey. So we've talked about the 3D, we've talked about this sort of like dense way of living, this dense existence, this belief, the belief structures, the eat, sleep, work, repeat, the routine, the living in the fear, living in disappointment, and living around the money, and having a belief that those in power really care about us, but they just keep pushing stuff on top of you to make you sort of like more fearful. And whereas when you start to ascend that, you step away from that, so you don't have an acceptance of it. Your soul, your energy, your consciousness as well just doesn't want to have anything to do with that. So what you might find when you are shifting into this stuff is you may find that when you are ascending through these frequencies, that a lot of people, and I often talk about this on this channel, but a lot of people that you may have had a connection with or a friendship with, or maybe family members, work colleagues, things like that, that there may be a lot of them have kind of moved away and aren't connected to you anymore, or they don't have much time of day for you, or you don't have much time of the day for them, because their frequency just doesn't sit right with you. And what do I mean by that? So if their frequency isn't sitting right with you, it's because they have the belief that you've got to go out, you've got to do this, you've got to get drunk, you've got to watch this TV series, you've got to watch that, you've got to watch the news, you've got to work, and they have so many different belief structures that they are still living within, that isn't what you're connected to anymore. And you are probably more interested in higher learning, in connection with your soul. You might want to start doing more meditation. You might be more interested in alternative ways of healing yourself. You may be more interested in just your music taste might have totally changed. Your TV watching may have changed. You may not be music that you've listened to for years, you might be totally just like, I just don't resonate with it anymore, and you'll be listening to something else. You might be listening to gentle, relaxing music, or meditation music, or classical music, or just something of a higher frequency than just the normal mainstream music. And it's the same with mainstream TV. You may just feel an aversion to watch mainstream TV, not all the time, but a lot of the time, because you'll feel that it is draining on you, and you'll probably wonder, well, why do I feel so like heavy? Why do I feel so run down? Why do I feel so lethargic after watching that? And that's because what you've been watching, what you've been listening to, what you've been consuming visually, auditory, or through your mouth, it doesn't sit with your vibration. And Dolores Cannon talks about this a lot through the Ascension process, through hypnosis and things like that, where when you are shifting through this, there might be certain foods which once over you absolutely loved. Maybe you loved a big greasy burger, but now when you eat it, it upsets you. You get something wrong with your stomach. You might get indigestion. You might feel sick. It might give you the shits or whatever. It might just make you feel off and really sluggish and heavy for a few days until you pass it through your system. And that's because your body is changing with the energy, with the frequency. So your body doesn't sit as well with this kind of heavy processed foods, or heavy meats, or lots of meat. You might have eaten meat every day, whereas now you're happier eating meat maybe once a week, and that's because your body it's just not geared for it anymore. Your energy is changing, your energy is shifting, and your body needs to be, because it's raising in vibration, and you might look and feel younger. You might look physically younger, you might have a bit more vibrancy about you, you might have a bit more bounce about you, and that's because the stuff that you are starting to eat, the things that you are starting to consume visually through the media, through video, TV, whatever, or auditory through what you listen to, has more more connection to you, to your vibration, and that's how you are ascending, and that's how you are developing in that sense as well. So there's going to be a lot of shifts, there's going to be a lot of changes within your life, and you might be wondering, well, why am I experiencing this? Why is this happening? Why do I feel like this? Why am I feeling low 1 minute, or why am I having a headache, or why is this happening? And then an hour later you're feeling on top of the world and you're feeling fine. And again, that's all to do with the shift in vibration within your soul, with your energy, and with your physical body. I mean, for this morning and yesterday, I had a horrendous headache. When I woke up this morning, it was just there. I had a bit of a sore throat, but the headache, I just could not shift. It took ages for it to go. I did some Reiki on myself and used some symbols and whatever, and eventually I did shift it. But again, that's because of frequency changes and downloads and information that's coming in, that's connecting to us, to our soul, to our energetic body, from the universe, from the earth, through the various electromagnetic shifts that are going on with the collective, with all of humanity and the planet. There is a lot of stuff going on. So that's a few things that you might experience if you are wondering, and if you are moving into the fourth dimension, or well on your way into the fourth dimension, rather than just sort of connecting to it. And you will see the world in a totally different way. You will kind of you will have stepped away from the belief that everything that you see on the TV is truth, and you will probably start to watch things, TV series, films, you'll probably start to watch them with a different eye. And what do I mean about that? Well, when you start to watch things with a different eye, I'm talking about your third eye. And your third eye is known as your pineal gland, and it's in the middle of your brain, but that is connected to your soul. It's part of your spiritual, it's one of your many spiritual gifts. It's a chakra, and when you start to operate from all chakras through your auric field with your energy body, you start to feel, sense, see, and know things differently. It's almost like you've kind of got a totally new sense of wisdom about you, of just inner knowing and inner knowledge, and you don't really know where it's come from. And you can watch things, and it'll kind of, what you watch, it'll kind of like hit you, and there'll be elements of it that you will see, and you'll be like, oh, right, okay, and it'll kind of give you an underlying message of what is being said within the film, within the TV series, whatever it may be. There will be an underlying message, and that will be something that you will pick up on, and that will happen all the time. It'll happen in music. You'll be listening to song words, you'll be like, wow, these song words, I've never really realised or listened to the song words properly, but all of a sudden you've started listening to the song words and they have a message in there. There's a meaning, and it's because, again, your vibration is shifting, your awareness is shifting, and you're connecting and hearing things on a totally different way, on a totally different wavelength, because you're connecting through your third eye, you're connecting through all your chakras, through all your senses, and through your soul. And your soul, your energy is feeling that, it's connecting to it. So when something doesn't resonate with your frequency anymore, it'll just be like, no, I don't want to know, just get it away. And that's the same with people, it's the same with jobs. You know, if you might be in a job that you've loved for years or whatever, and all of a sudden you want to do your own thing, you want to start your own business, you want to change career, you want to do something that you thought, you know, I really want to do that. I've never had the guts or the bravery to just like say, you know, screw this or reduce my hours and go and do this, but all of a sudden something is calling you to tell you that this is what you need to do, and it just feels right. Something just feels right about it, and you know that the universe and spirit and everything, your guides, they're behind you, backing you all the way, guiding you. And regardless of what comes up, and things will come up, it will be rocky, it won't be a smooth boat, because again, we're still going through the transition, we're still going through the change, and the 3D world still sort of like zips in and out of our frequency, and that's what creates this rocking of the boat, hence why we see so much turbulence around the planet. But there are also little lessons that we need to take on board, moving forward, moving through the shift from heavy, dense, fear, control-filled world to a new earth, a new beginning, a new level of awareness, a new consciousness that so many people are now tuning into and now becoming so aware of, and it's happening more and more and more, and it's really snowballing, it's escalating, and that's why we can feel almost as if it's like a race. It's a race to the end line, between those that think they control us, but now we're like, hey, you don't control me. I am doing what I do. I'm following my soul journey. I'm following my soul path. And the more people that do that, and the more people that are brave enough to do that and follow their inner calling, their soul journey, the more people it will, Ben or Joe or Bob or Ian or Fred, they did that, you know, and look where they are now. They are loving life. Yeah, they've had the challenges, they've had the hard times, they've had their ups and downs, but it's totally different to my way of living. Why am I living in the world of stress? Why am I living in this world of control? I should be doing that. I should be making the most out of my life. And that's what we're seeing with people. People are saying, you know, life's too short. This physical life for us is too short, and we need to get as much done as we can that our soul needs us to do, moving forward. And I was talking to somebody today, and it was a neighbour down the road, and we were just talking about like life in London, and I was like, oh, I couldn't do that. I could not work in a city really. I couldn't do anything like that, not anymore. And she's like, oh, you'd get used to it. I said, well, no, I wouldn't. I said, I wouldn't want to get used to it. I said, that's not me. Why should I get used to something that I don't want to do? I said, I don't want a life of stress, of drama, of turmoil, of wondering how to do this and how to get by and how to be able to do this and feed myself and all that sort of stuff. And then with all these other people around you that are just collectively in that negative soup as well. No, get me the hell out of there. That is just like horrendous. And again, that's the other aspect of stepping into a different dimension, because maybe years ago I would have been quite happy to do that. I would have been quite happy to chase the money and say, you know what, yeah, I'm going to do that. I'm going to go and live in the city or whatever and get this job and do whatever and get as high as I can and get into this line of work and be the best I can at it. Whereas now, yeah, I want to be proficient and knowledgeable and good, but I'm also learning as everybody else is. But I'm also following what my soul is telling me to do. And if it wasn't for my brush with mental health and all that sort of stuff, and then discovering meditation, then that wouldn't put me into a place where now this weekend I'm teaching a Reiki course. I'm going to bring new light to the planet with new healers, people that I know that are already on a healing journey anyway, but they want to learn Reiki as well. So amazing. So the more healers, the more light workers, the more people that want to follow their soul calling that we can bring into the world and wake up and light up, then the bigger the effect on everybody else, the collective, the healing of the planet. the healing of the collective consciousness, the awakening of the collective consciousness, and one by one it escalates and becomes more and more and more, and that's where we're at. So if you're seeing this video and watching this and thinking, you know what, I've started experiencing some of that, then you are on your journey. You know, you are on that path, and we've all been at various stages of it, from the very early on, from wondering what the hell is going on, why am I seeing this, why am I experiencing that, why am I feeling this, why am I having this panic attack, why am I having these thoughts and these impressions, and why am I having this huge headache, or this huge download of information, or why is everything just so bright, or all these different things that happen to us on this journey. It really is unique and wonderful and amazing, and a lot of these things that I've talked about are things that I've experienced or happened to me, but everyone's individual, so your journey will be as unique to you as you are to the collective. You will have something to bring to the collective that the collective needs. So harness it, feed it, feel it, go with it, follow it, and bring your light to the table, to shine as brightly as possible, and expose more of the 3D, more of the darkness, and just whoosh, wipe it out. So there we go. There's my little video for today. A little bit of a chat with you guys. I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope it means something. It's lovely to connect and speak kind of one-to-one again through this device. Welcome to quite a few new subscribers. We're almost at 800 subscribers now, so we're on a really good trajectory moving forward. And yeah, roll on 1,000, and then roll on however many more after that. It really is a wonderful journey. So if you enjoyed this video, if it's brought some sort of clarity and meaning to where you are, to your journey, then don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to give me a bing, give me a thumbs up, and let me know how you're doing. Let me know if you're on your journey. Let me know if it's something that's quite new to you, what's going on, what you're feeling, what you're experiencing, and we're all here to help each other. This is a community for us all to move on, through healing, through awakening, through connecting to your consciousness, to your intuition, and one day at a time, one step at a time, we get there in our own unique way. Okay guys, much love to you all. Take care of yourselves, and bye for now.